Welcome everybody to another quick hit review video. It's been a while really since I've done a great deal of trading over the past few weeks with Brexit that was due to happen, which obviously isn't now for several more months. The markets themselves have been, we've seen some movement, but we've seen no real trades that I'm happy to take. I've had a couple of trades which have gone on to win, but nothing to write home about. But this morning there are 6 potentials that I want to run through, and the first one is going to be on the Aussie dollar CAD, and here on the dailies it's actually a advanced pattern. We have a Gartley pattern here, so from the swing high to the swing low. You can see that we've hit a 61.8 fib, means that we're on Gartley pattern alert. X to A to B, B to C, CD completion was actually just above the 786. But I take these from a minimum of 886 just to give me that better reward to risk. And if we're looking for an entry reason, we can drop down to the 240, and we don't as yet have one. But we could see a move higher here all the way up into this zone. But if you are looking for an entry reason, pay attention to this 9100 psychological number. The RSI did go overbought there as well. We'll move on to the Euro Aussie. This is a trendline structure trade, so I'm going to be looking for a rotation pattern. So here on the dailies, if we put a structure level in like this based on the closes of the candles, then you can see we've had 1, 2, 3, and we are currently down for our 4th test. That 4th test also comes in at 6100 psychological number, and we do have a little bit of support and resistance here as well at this zone. So it would be an area where you could look to get long. Where could targets potentially go? Well, I'd be a little bit skeptical about shooting too far here. There is the potential for us to go all the way back up to this zone, but I would play safely within this structure high just here. Let's drop down the time frame. What type of entry would we be looking for? Ideally, we'd be looking for a double bottom. So let me just refresh this page. Okay, so the RSI here, if we look, we haven't gone overbought on the first test. So this here would not be a double bottom that I would be interested in, but we can monitor it to see if it provides anything else, maybe like a head and shoulders or another entry on the lower time frame. But that's certainly an area I would be paying attention to. Let's go and take a look at the Euro Yen. Okay, on the Euro Yen we have a 2618 opportunity. So what we have here is we had the market which rallied straight up, and I'm going to drop down a time frame here to the 240, and this is not going to be a high and tight flag for me, but you can look at it as though it's a channel. And we duplicate that and move it down. 1, 2, 3, and this would be your 4th down here, but that 4th actually double bottomed. You can see that clearer on the 60-minute, and because we dropped down the time frames, we do need to reposition our lines. That needs to be up there, and as you can see, the touch was actually here then, so it's still valid here on the 60. And what did we do is we came all the way down. We double bottomed, we had a break above, close above, we failed to hit the trendline structure. I would be looking for a pullback here down to this level, which would be a 2618, where we look at buying the 61.8 fib up. And it would give you, in terms of risk, stops going ATR below the low, which is, I think that's 9, so we'll be looking at 18, 120 18s. And then you'd be looking for a reward all the way up here for a retest of those highs. That's the Euro Yen for the 2618. Now, as we go on to some bigger daily trades, we've got some very nice setups happening here. We have a beautiful flag pattern setting up. So first of all, I'm going to go to the weeklies. Here on the weekly, I don't have quite enough data loaded, but you can see here on the weekly, we are at new lows. Let's go down to the daily. And this is really a daily pattern. Look at what we've got here. We've got a beautiful swing in the market, like so. And then if we draw out a trend line structure, based on the closes of the candles, duplicate it, move it up, and have it on the closes of the candles. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and not only that, we are double topping up here as well. So we have a breakout pattern here, we have a flag pattern. We are also at this level of structure right here. However, this level of structure is actually more key to me just here. But let's bring up the RSI. You can see currently we're double topping. Okay, this can be a valid double top for you. We went overbought. Ooh, actually guys, we did not. Okay, we fell short 79.36. We fell just short of a double top. Okay, so ignore the double top. If it's valid for you, great. If not, what I'm going to be waiting for is the market to push up into this main resistance area and for this trendline structure to hold. Now, this trendline structure, remember, is not violated until we physically break and close above this level, so there is room for this to go higher. So this is a very large daily trade, and it's going to offer you a great reward to risk. This is something I'm going to be in if it provides me my entry. So if we get a high test candle up here and then we get a lower, lower, lower close or a red candle, this is going to be something like my risk. And my reward is going to be all the way down here. These are the types of trades that I absolutely love. Look at that for reward to risk. It's going to be something like a 150 pips of risk, and the reward is probably going to be 500 pips, 521 pips. It is on the dailies, guys, so bear that in mind. Let's move on to the next one. We're going to be looking at the New Zealand yen. What did I have in a New Zealand yen? I've just done it. Okay, it was the New Zealand dollar. Okay, New Zealand dollar. I did have a nice little win on this. It was a breakout pattern on the lower time frame, but we have a beautiful head and shoulders here, but it is on the dailies. So let's zoom out. First of all, on the dailies, we're going to put a structure level in at the closes of the candles and at the low of the wicks. And this is where we see those two rotation patterns, either double bottoms or heads and shoulders. So let's zoom in. And what we're looking for, this is a pattern, and with all patterns, we're looking for a swing in the market. Well, here is a swing in the market, a directional move, a pullback before we tested structure. Then we came down and tested structure. We then double bottomed just here. We then rallied up. So the head and shoulders is now looking like this. We had a pullback, and now we're pushing higher, giving us a head and shoulders. So let's drop down the time frames. Let's go down to the 240. Now here on the 240, you can see we've already had a break above, close above. So what I'm going to be waiting for here is I'm going to highlight this entire outside return. I'm going to wait for the market to pull back. So let's just clarify what the market will likely do. We'll probably go a little bit higher. If the market pulls back into this zone just here, I'm going to be looking for the first chance, second chance or third chance entry, and I'm going to be looking to get long on this trade. It's going to be a very large, beautiful looking head and shoulders. Let's just drop down to the 60. And we actually had a breakout pattern here which I was involved with, guys, like this. and boom, we broke out. It was worth about 32 pips to me, something like that. Let's move on to the last trade. Those of you that love big trades, hold your breath. This is close to a 1,000 pip trade. It isn't the highest probability, but let's run through what we actually have here. So on the daily time frame, we actually have an advanced pattern first of all, and it looks like this. It looks like X to A to B. We hit a 786, so we're on butterfly alert. B to C, CD completion all the way up here, and you would be looking for a 127 as the entry. Now you can see price has gone up and hit that 127, so we could be looking for a big move lower here based on this butterfly. However, butterflies don't always complete at the 127. Sometimes they go all the way up to the 1618, and we could see, just need to adjust this, that 1618 for me happens from the C leg. We could actually see price go up to this level. Okay, so there are two entries for me on butterflies. The most common that occurs is down here, but it does also occur at the 1618. So bear that in mind, that we could now be looking at a big move lower based on this butterfly. What else do we have? Well, structure leveling first of all at the very highs just here, and you can see structure has been held, so we've got no confirmation at this stage that price is going to go higher. However, if you do not trade butterflies, but you do trade flag patterns, then look at what the market has been doing. We've been seeing big rallies, pullbacks, and then from here a big rally. I'm going to zoom in for this, guys, and then we can be looking for a flag pattern. Now it is lower probability because we haven't got, let me get this positioned correctly, can't do two things at once, that's right there. We haven't got that break above, close above. However, 1, 2, 3, 4 down here, where would we come into? Typically these tend to turn within the wicks. Here are the wicks. The fourth test would come down into our zone just here. So let's drop down a time frame. What we can do is look for an entry reason, something which would tell us that we are actually going to go higher rather than lower. And just in this zone here, we could look for a rotation pattern, allowing us to get tight stops and giving us the confirmation that we could be going higher. So a confirmed double bottom down here would be great. How much is this trade worth? Well, we're throwing a fib from our swing high to swing low, and we'll look for that 127. I'm just going to go back out to the daily so that I can see this trade clearer. Okay, we're going to be looking at, if we get an entry just here, we're going to be looking at 913 pips, and very likely with a risk of no more than maybe 150, something like that. It may be up to 200. It's a very large daily trade, which I will be taking on the swing account if it gives me that confirmation. But just bear in mind that we haven't had the break above, close above. Again, structure level on just here. We have held structure, but we could still be seeing a big breakout to the upside. So look for that rotation pattern, that confirmation that this trendline structure is being held, and we could see the move higher. This is the most amount of opportunities I've had for a month, guys, on the radar, because the market, due to Brexit, has just been moving in a way which has been untradable for me. So there's been very, very few trades for me. Haven't lost a great deal, but please pay attention to the pound New Zealand. The New Zealand yen looks a cracking trade. I'm very, very interested in that one, and the pound New Zealand as well. Apart from that, safe trading. I'll see you in the chat shortly.